What's going on, crypto fam? So, welcome to the Billy Goat Tales live Sunday show. Today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about 401ks and we're going to, are they about to explode? And then a whole bunch of other crypto stuff. So, we got a whole jam packed session. But let's start out. Say hello to the team. What's going on, Dave Digital?
What's going on, everybody? Hanging out. We got a little bit of echo. Yep. What's going on, everybody? Just hanging out. Didn't know what Bitcoin was going to let me in. It came up and it hit my entry point, and then it had this big old candle down. So I waited on it. It came back up and went back in. So I don't know if it's going to work because we're definitely at the VWAP right now, but I'm hoping to come down to these two anchored VWAPs. Let's see what happens.
All right, all right. Jimbo Fett, what's going on, Jimbo?
What's going on, Tony? Another rainy day here in Texas.
Oh, it hasn't rained this way, so send some of it out over here. And Red Man joining us from Las Vegas, Lasaway Jasa in Chinese. What's going on, Red Man?
It's a beautiful Sunday. Welcome to the greatest crypto show in the world, Billy Goat Tales.
All right, to our viewers, drop a huddle in the chat if you tell us where you're at. And so, Dave, you want to get us started on saying hello to the chat?
I would love to say hello to that chat. Let's look in here and see where we started. Looks like we started with Mike Vollmer checking in with the gold medal, #1 spot. Yeah, and we've got Jessica Luck came in behind him. All set is here in the chat. Dark Crash is in. He's like 7. Jessica Luck still got the issue that he's not able to tag anyone because he's not on his phone, or he is on his phone with his TV. So stuff is going on. Jesse's not going to be able to tag you, so you're just going to have to listen and look at his chat. Who else do we have in the chat? We've got Philly Whiz Kids, GDP in the chat. Andy's in the chat holding things down with the blue wrench. What's up, Andy? Let's see, Jimbo Fett saying hi to everybody. Scott Watson in the chat. K Diggs in the chat saying good evening, goats. Rusty Bot is in the chat. I think that's everybody so far. And we got Randy popping in right there at the end. Hello, goats. Hello to everybody.
What's going on, Randy? Welcome in and welcome everybody. So before we get into our topics, of course, you know where we start with the crypto bubbles, but we want to share that, we've got Dark Crash. Man, I don't know. I can't say that earlier. I said something different. We've got Dark Crash on with us, who's going to be sharing the charts. But first, a quick dad joke. Why did Bitcoin go to therapy? It had too many blocked emotions. All right. So let's jump on in. Crypto Billy can't be with us here right now today, but of course he's always in our thoughts. And let's go ahead and jump into the bubbles. Redman, are you ready?
Let's go. All right. So this is the 1 to 100 bubbles. There we go. 1 to 100, and we got a little bit of a pullback. So there's nothing much to be concerned over. It's all around 1%. AVAX down 1%. Radium, we're going to talk about that here in a second. Ondo down 1%. Everything's down 1% for the most part in the hourly. In the daily, we got a little bit of a mixed bag. You see a little more green in there. We got Radium up 10% in the daily. Congrats to the Radium people. They're up 6 spots. $903.91 million market cap. We got Lido up 6.5%. Liquid staking making a move here. They're up 1 spot to number 77. $1.25 billion market cap. Congratulations to the Lido people. AVAX on the daily is down 4.3%. AVAX is a hard one to figure out. I haven't been able to figure it out yet. If you do, let me know. XTZ, let's see, Tezos down 5.4% for the daily, and then we got Pi over here. Pi's down 2 spots to 38, $3.12 billion market cap. Still a lot of coins being put into the ecosystem there every day that people are selling off. IP's up 6.1% for the day. So They are an AI project for the weekly at 12.1%. They're up 55% for the month. They're up 4 spots to number 51. Congratulations to the Story IP people. $2.05 billion market cap, 70 million for 24-hour volume. Nothing really much. Pumps down 4.3%, but they're up 5.3% for the week. So probably recover from that. Let's see on the weekly. We got a couple newcomers to the weekly. I see Arrow's up 55% for the week. So congratulations to the Arrow Finance people. Look like they're cruising along now. Up 54% for the month, 73% for the year. They're up 21 spots to number 83, $1.06 billion market cap. Congratulations to the Arrow Finance people. We got Link. Link is a big green bubble now, so it's up 34% for the week. Congratulations to Link Marines. They're up 2 spots from number 12. Market cap 4.81 billion. They're up 107% for the year. Congratulations, Link Marines. Pendle. Pendle's a newcomer. Pendle's up 10 spots to number 95. Just broke the top 100. Congratulations to the Pendle people. They're up 102% for the year. $909 million market cap. Yeah, for the year. Yeah, pretty stable for the year. Got a little bullish pattern here the last couple of months. Congratulations to the Pendle people. Mantle's been doing it pretty much all year long. They're up 64% for the year. For the weekly, though, they're up 45.4%. They're up 6 spots to number 34, $3.46 billion market cap. Congratulations to the Mantle people. We got anything else? ETH is up 20%. Everybody's been talking about ETH. The ETH bulls are out. Crow's up 23% right now. It's up 75% for the year. So congratulations to the Chronos people. They're up 6 spots to number 25. Coin's been around forever. Let's see what else. Say's up 14% for the week and up 11.4% for the year. They are up 4 spots to number 56 with a $1.86 billion market cap. Congratulations to the Say people. Let's go on to the monthly. Pretty much the same for the month. Pretty much the same. ENS is up 32% for the year. So Ethereum name service getting a little bit of love here, up 4 spots to number 90. $970 million market cap. Let's see the year. The year kind of looks the same. It looks the same as it did last week, Tony. I'll send it back over to you, brother.
All right, all right. Let's see. We'll bring it back down to that section. So next, we will jump right into the coin market cap. I'm ready when you are, Dave. All right. Well, we're getting so much closer to a $4 trillion market cap. We're up another 1%, 1.05%, and at 3.96 trillion. I'm not sure if we go at the same rate, what level we'll get to, what day we'll hit that 4 trillion market cap. So excited about that. Altcoin index is down to 38. We were at 55 a few weeks ago, thinking that we were just about to head on a altcoin run. Maybe we're going to have that jump up again. What was the number, Red? I don't know if you remember off the top of your head. What was the number that we need to
50.
hit?
Oh, 75. We need to hit 75 for it to be alt season.
There you go. So we need 75 for alt season. We were up at 55 a few weeks ago, and now we're down back to 38. So, but we, later on in the show, we're talking about Ethereum pumping. And so maybe that's, just going to get us started. Fear and Greed, we're at a 59. Last week, we were at, here, let me share this screen instead. So last week, I think we were up at close to 67. So, that was on the 7th. Here, let me go to a 30-day. There we go. So last week we were up at around 67, something like that. Maybe last week we were down. My bad. So down to closer to 40, 50, and now we're back up to 60. So Fear and Greed, seems like everybody's excited about the pumps that we've had this week. I'm sure you guys are as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So All right, we'll go into the different crypto coins. Of course, Bitcoin pumping over 118. I think that happened last night. I got a few notifications. Was happy to see that moving. And of course, Ethereum. I think it even pumped up to 4,300 sometime last night. XRP. Where's the XRP army? I know Wick 589. Are you in the chat? Not sure if you're in there today yet, but XRP pumping. We've got that going up at 318. Let's see. BNB is jumping as well. Actually, it looks like BNB is hovering right between the positive and negative. That just flashed red, and so charts are moving up and down. We've got Solana number 6 still. We got Dogecoin, Tron, and then Cardano pumping. You're still holding that 10th spot, almost at 80 cents. Obviously, you can see here a little bit on the chart that it had skyrocketed above slightly in the last few days, but that will be it for the market cap. Unless you guys had anything else you wanted to touch on.
No, we're good to go, Tony.
Cool. Well, let me bring that down. And, we are going to get into our topics here shortly. We're going to start with our 401k executive order that was put out. But Dave, do you want to talk a little bit about the new channel or the new show that we just launched yesterday?
Of course. So we have a new podcast out. It's the In Simple Terms podcast. The premise is kind of simple. We look at complex questions or complex items like complex topics like the white paper. Last time we did the XRP white paper, we loaded into an AI that develops a voice podcast between two personalities that we're able to interact with live. So that's what we're doing on Saturday mornings.
Yes, if you haven't checked it out yet, you can still go check it out. Dave was playing around with it, and a lot of you were involved in that. And so 9 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays, jump in. I was able to watch it on replay. Most of you know I'm a night owl, but it was good, Dave. I really enjoyed it, and helped me to get to know a little bit more about the XRP white paper, because I'll have to admit I hadn't read it myself. So
yeah, and it's fun to do. So I think that's the best thing is. Let's just have fun. I mean, there's that time in Saturday mornings that I have a pocket of time. So let's get together, and anybody else that has a pocket of time, come hang out. And if you have questions, pop them in. Otherwise, just have a good time and chat.
Indeed. So let's dive in with Trump's 401k crypto executive order. What does it mean for your retirement? We've got on August 7th, so 2025, Trump signed an order pushing the Labor Secretary to rethink the ERISA fiduciary rules for 401ks, reversing Biden's 2022 crypto caution. So it's going to open the door for Bitcoin, ETH, private equity, and all these other Treasury-aligned regulations. So what are you guys' thoughts on this going forward? I'll bring up a news article in a little bit, but I just want to go around the table here and see what your thoughts are. And then also, of course, we can still see what chat is saying about this as well.
Yeah, I think that there are 401ks that already had access, but I think becoming mainstream, I think that's obviously that's good for adoption. And the people that didn't have access to Bitcoin, now you got it. So no more excuses. Buy Bitcoin while you can. Get out of that job if you can. Let Bitcoin be the vessel.
Yeah, Redman, what do you think?
So this is the FOMO that every crypto bro is looking for, right? So this is the news, right? We want to see a whole bunch of liquidity coming in the market, and what's better than trillions of dollars coming from 401k? I believe this gives the investor that doesn't have the money on the sideline, that doesn't have the money in their paycheck, it gives them a chance to be able to be part of this movement, right? And so I think it's humongous. Will it take time? Yes, it's going to take time. They have to rewrite their laws. On top of that, they have to reword the wording for the 401k policy regulation. That's going to take time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but we're definitely excited. I was ecstatic when I found out about it because I knew that this wave of money was going to come.
Yeah, how about you, Jimbo? You looking forward to?
That's definitely good news. I mean, I've been trying to get some money out of my 401k, like transferring it for over a year. And our 401k provider they won't let you unless you leave the company. So this will be a good way to not have to move that money and still be exposed inside of the 401k, in addition to the IRA I have that's already exposed to crypto. So I like it.
So you don't have to drop the mic, walk out one day, and then come back in as a new hire the next day, just so you can transfer that anymore. Hopefully,
I asked them to do that, and they laughed and said they weren't going through all of that.
not just for your crypto trades, right?
Yeah, and I thought I was going to be able to get it out when we transferred providers here at the beginning of the year, and I distinctly remember when they were doing a orientation program in our 401k. I asked, how soon they were going to offer any digital assets, and the guy kind of chuckled and more or less said, that wasn't happening anytime soon. So I guess it's going to happen sooner than he thought.
Yeah. Who's laughing now?
Right. I mean, we definitely had a market reaction. Bitcoin went to 116 right away, pretty much 1% that day. And Ethereum jumped 4%. And then crypto stocks also had a good rally. So
Tony, just real quick. So this is from Grok. Grok says current status and next steps, regulatory process. The DOL and SEC are expected to take at least 6 months to revise fiduciary guidance and regulations. And then employer adoption. Employers will need to decide whether to offer alternative assets, like requiring new funds from providers like Fidelity or BlackRock. And then adoption may be slow due to caution and legal concerns. And then it says at the bottom, companies like Empower and Voya. So if you have Empower or Voya Financial, are already planning to include private assets in some 401k portfolios, indicating early industry momentum. So just wanted to read that real quick before we.
Yeah, I mean, I think, on the mainstream side, people might still worry about the swings in crypto. But with all, investment opportunities, you got to not really worry about the daily sometimes. And obviously there are times when, and not financial advice, make sure you consult your financial advisor or whatever you want to do. But, there's times when, if someone's getting closer to that retirement age, they might want to move into something more or less volatile. And so, it's just, but it gives people an option. And I think that we want to be able to have options and jump into what we would want to be able to do. And I think this gives people those options. Hopefully that when it rolls out, anything regulatory like this is going to take time. So yeah, 6 months will probably be a start of it. It probably won't be, a year or two before things really start rolling out, but it's a good start. So why did the 401k go crypto? Because it wanted to hodl, and it wanted to hodl its retirement dreams. Yeah, I failed on delivery, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share this Reuters, not episode, Reuters article from August 10th, about 10 hours ago. Trump's 401ks order offer retirement savers crypto, private assets, but also higher fees and more risk. So there's some other things that will come along with it. There we go. So critics are highlighting the risk and lack of disclosure in private equity and crypto. Of course, that's always been the mainstream kind of banter. So, in the crypto world, oftentimes we're not too concerned with that. We know what we're getting into. I don't think people are talking enough about the potential for higher fees, says Felista Hansen, head of product equity administration at Alview Systems. I'm not even sure who that is, but it does say that the executive order says raises more questions than answers, or at least that's what this person's talking about. Someone will need to be very thoughtful about how these types of assets can be incorporated. Well, of course, that's going to be the case. You got to be thoughtful on how you incorporate things. I think almost anything that happens under the Trump administration, there's folks that are going to hate on it. And so we'll continue to push on. All right. So what do we got next? I think we have our chart man today is going to be Dark Crash. So should we go ahead and bring up Dark Crash?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
Are you loud with a good echo?
We got the echo
How's
again.
everyone doing?
Yep.
All right, it's cleared up.
How's it gone? Good. Okay. So generic breakdown of today, we're seeing a lot of positivity. Again, the fear and greed isn't exactly as high as I would expect it to be, because honestly, with all this continued momentum of Bitcoin being as high as it is in the 100Ks, one might think that especially with this 4-week trend we've got going on here of just craziness, we're kind of irking towards some sort of downward action. So again, with all this positivity, there's not as much how do I say this, greed in the markets. So what does that say to me? Well, we have at least one more potential leg up to reach, say about, I would say about 124, 125K before we see a real lick down to about the 100K range or even below, quite honestly. And that's just in the medium long term. Like I've been saying since last week, I'm kind of waiting for that doom and gloom scenario, because we're about to get that third red dot there on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And typically on a 5-peak trend, we do see a dip down. But sliding down from the, oh, sorry, this was the monthly chart. I thought that was the weekly, but either way, we're finally coming up to 4 solid months at least of positive price action. And aside from coming out of the bottom of the bear market and the multi-month trend beyond that, that led to some positive price action, we are kind of at a phase now in the market where we got to start counting our months and realizing that pressure is going to start being put towards the downside more than we would like to. So just in a generic sense, we got to keep that in mind, especially as we're starting to form these dojis on the weekly and cresting momentum against the 50-60 zone, which again, with the splitting of RSI, we're kind of getting that downward action that we actually desperately need before we see any sort of trace back up. Again, it's nice to always have the money flow in there, but we do need some sort of retracement because this price action is positive as it is. Even with the 401k news, we're going to need a little bit of retracement, at least in my honest opinion. But yeah, let's now zoom a little bit more inwards to this daily. We found support in the past week off of these weeks, in the spider line there, kind of forming a bit of resistance against the what would be considered value area. So going forward from there, I would project no higher than a 119 or even a 120. And if we break out of that value range, I would say in Frankie's terms, we would shoot to the area high, which would be roughly around the spider line there, in my opinion. And following with this channel, if we were to fail on that and break downwards, we'd be as low as 112. Okay. And of course, true market maker doom and gloom scenario would be down as low as the 100s, even 101K, just dialing it right back down to the DBSI line on Market Cipher. And that's pretty much the generic breakdown to the daily. And if we go right into the short time frames, what do we have for short-term price action here? We are kind of enjoying this ping off of the 119s. But on my favorite chart, the 24-minute, we can see the spelling of a blood diamond, the breakup of your RSI and stochastics. So we are in the short term looking for more of a short. We do have blood diamond forming, like I mentioned, but with these two dojis breaking below the EMAs, just a whole lot of confluence towards the downside, at least in the very short term. But that could just be the daily, weekly volatility that we have been seeing going on for some time. It's been kind of forming more or less a price wedge in the weekly sense. So we're kind of looking towards more of that breakout either to the downside or above. And again, if we do fall into this massive channel we've had in the past, things could get dicey. We would see probably some crazy news stories one way or another, world events, and could all tie that into price action, both with crypto and outside. So yeah, that's kind of my take on Bitcoin at the moment. Let's slide over. Oh, well, I was going to slide into ETH, but let's actually take a look at the ETH dominance briefly. And we're seeing, of course, with all that amazing news leading in DeFi and secondary markets, we finally have ETH dominance showing force here in terms of like it's well above the 10% mark, and we're about to reach what I believe for the altcoin season, a trillion lock would be right up around that DBSI line, if not over the psychological 15% level, which then we'd be kind of reaching right here where we see this this little hump right here, that's kind of where I would be projecting more or less a value area zone in terms of dominance towards Ethereum. And if we were to have more around that, we would probably see more price action towards the upside, which would lead me to believe that with these newer highs, which are almost coming up to all-time highs, that we could see no less than in the short term, at least a minimum 6,000 Ethereum. Now let's zoom out even further and to see what that might actually look like. Okay, so here we have more or less a hidden divergence forming between these two humps, right about there. And then with RSI and stochastics burning as hot as they are against this, so much as we form support here, then we would more or less be off to the races, because this has been more a battle point for quite some time. And to wick as hard as it is and hold it despite this downward action we're seeing across all these altcoins, we're just at that final turning point, I think, for Ethereum. And of course, with the money flow cresting back into the green. But now if we were to move a little bit more towards the smaller time frames, what do we have here? A nice little trigger wave. Support forming inside the EMA. And what else we got here? Potential short-term turnaround as our momentum is reaching the 50-60 zone on our market cipher B down there. So again, we're all seeing this little bit of price action kind of turning back towards the downside in the short term, in correlation with the Mastership Bitcoin. Mastership Bitcoin is the main driver of the crypto universe as it is, and we all turn to it basically as our guidance point, right? So even with Ethereum kind of being second in command, we still kind of try to correlate with our Bitcoins. And that being said, we are more or less at a soft top, I would believe, and we're looking for about 2 to 3 weeks of slump leading towards September, and then we might have probably 2 or 3 good shocks of 20 to 30% upside in the market. So whether that's spread through Bitcoin and Ethereum and not more altcoins, that's hard to say. But we're kind of at that phase now. If I had that little chart up where it shows the different phases of the market, where it goes from Bitcoin season to Ethereum season to altcoin season, we would see that we're more or less in the first third of the Ethereum season. And we're probably going to see that 5K in the next couple of weeks, whether it's a spike or not. But then we'll probably more or less have that slump before we reach our 6,000 and 7,000 Ethereum. And that's when it's going to start to shock the world, and we're going to start to see retail draw in. Because again, I'm always out in the world doing gym all the time, right? And I'm hearing from the general public at this point that there's just so much more interest, and I really feel the retail vibes coming back. And that being said, if we look at our good friend Cardano, not as hot as many other alts. It's still kind of forming more or less a flag here. Let's see if I can bring up my Trendoscope and see if it shows anything. Yeah, there you go. Little messy, but so we got a 1, 2, 3, 4 action right there on the weekly.
Cardano always seems to have a little bit different structure and flow and takeoff points than the other alts.
Absolutely, and it's mostly tied to fundamental base, which kind of gives it its own niche in the crypto market. It's not, well, just like every other crypto, it's tied to Bitcoin. And as soon as Bitcoin moves, everything moves almost in a similar pattern. Of course, a lot of cryptos do have their own breakaways, and Cardano is one of those, very much so. And it's its own kind of tertiary driver, if you will. Much like our Litecoins, our BNBs, our XRPs, or our XLMs, all of those, they're tertiary drivers in my vision of the crypto market. Obviously, the secondary being Ethereum, but yeah, it's
Wait,
its own
you don't
animal.
expect me to know what a tertiary is, do you?
Primary, secondary, tertiary. I'm just thinking pegging orders 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I could
Okay,
classify it as ABC supposedly, but
Gotcha. Okay. C.
Yeah.
So tertiary is C.
more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dark Crash has that big brain on bread.
Those Canadian words.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I've said this in the past. Full disclosure, I do own Kronos, and I was so happy to see the reaction uh, with relation to the 401ks. We all know that these fellas own a lot of real estate. They've got their arena, they've got all sorts of market share in different areas, in different industries.
And they just had an
So
upgrade too. V6 upgrade just happened.
yeah, exactly. And having kind of broken out of this wedge and still found support and not completely fallen through is very exciting to say the least, especially since I've had a lot of card rewards in this area down here. So I'm personally very happy to see the turnaround here. Now, will it actually break through all of this resistance? I don't know. It very well could, but as far as previous all-time highs go, this is going to look a little small just because it's little, not as much data on this chart, but we did have that massive blast off. That was very exciting to have happen. What I see in the short term, long term for Kronos, especially this bull market, price targets anywhere, and I'm being conservative here. This chart looked amazing in the past, but I'm thinking anywhere between the $2 to $3 range, but conservatively, probably between 1.2 and 1.4 would be the next spectacular spike if we were to see such, especially since it has such a foothold in the US industry, and you see crypto.com all around with UFC and all that. So yeah, that's my take on this little altcoin. Anyone have any others you might want me to take a look at?
Can we look at Chainlink?
Oh, sure.
Chain
So this
link,
chart's a little
yeah,
messy, but
baby.
much similar setup to what I had over on Kronos, actually, but with a lot more strength, and the angle of the rising wedge is pointed a little higher. We love our chain link, and would you look at that beautiful monthly green dot? This is just an incredible flow of momentum just from what we have on the limited data of this chart. And zooming in real quick, compressed wedge with a breakout looking very nice. Auto fit, sorry about that. Yeah, just a whole lot of nice setups right here from the bottom of this to the bottom of this, and in conjunction with the rising momentum, I'm just seeing a whole lot of good things for Chainlink going forward. Price currently $21.99. We'll round it up, $22. Conservatively speaking, in this market, I would peg Chainlink at no less than $50 in this bull market, no less. Polkadot's had its turn, right? Trying to do a very similar thing, but Chainlink's got the ground, and there's just way too much big money involved, and even medium money, if you want to call it that. So it's got a very strong foundation as a, for lack of better words, business. Yeah.
Well, we had a couple requests, and I think maybe we have a little bit of time for it. What do you think, gang? We can look
Yeah.
at Polygon and maybe Aave. Andrea in the chat, of course, our moderator in our Discord. Andrea just loves Aave, and so we can look at that, but also Polygon. So Scott Watson, what's going on? Welcome. I'll give you a little bit of time to set that up. And for those of you that are wondering what those goats are after your name in the chat, well, we went ahead and updated the levels. And so you have a 1 month goat, and then you have another goat that will change color at the end of your name for 2 months, or excuse me, there's a new one, and then 1 month, and then 2 months, and then it's 6 months. And then of course we'll figure out what we do from there to change it up. But so the color of your goat will change at the end of your name based on your membership.
Nice.
Wow,
And we
that
thank
sounds
you
fun.
all for being here. It was
Very
better than the stars that were there, Dave.
Yeah, way better. I think that's way cool. I can't wait to get another colored goat.
Whenever
Awesome.
you're
Well,
ready,
this is-
Dark, I just wanted to let you get some setup going.
No, yeah, this is about as set up as it's going to get. I would just keep adding to my watch list, and we'll go from there with fresh charts.
Yeah.
What we're looking at in terms of, let's see this, how much data we got? Not a whole lot. Let's see, I probably have another chart way up here somewhere. It's always those Coinbase charts, right? Anyways, let's just
Yeah.
pull up another.
What was that? Polygon?
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on Polygon? You think it's still going to have some validity? I mean, I was actually very excited about the opportunities when a
Anyways.
lot of the big companies were starting to do NFTs on Polygon, but then that seems to have died off a little bit.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know enough about it to know what it does, to know how to gauge if it's going to keep doing whatever it is it
Sure.
does.
That's right, and its utility is still incredible, considering like its ability to bridge NFTs and the working financial landscape as it is. Like, I feel like they're more or less what we need for, say, OpenSea to come back and thrive, and other NFT markets, including Crypto.com's NFTs. Like, just the back end that makes up Polygon is something we need. And even though it's literally in the dumps right now and not getting much better, it's that back end I think that we need to build off of.
Yeah. So what does the chart look like?
Not pretty.
Not pretty.
Just
Yeah,
off
we
the
can
limited
all
data we're
see.
looking at from prior to
Yeah.
2022 and the all-time highs respectively. Should Polygon recover from this, which it's showing a little bit of promise in terms of the upflow against this red money flow, but we're just seeing these consistent large humps that aren't producing much. We get these large volumes, but it's really just a blip on the radar, for lack of better words, because we're not even really breaking out of any sort of how do I say this, data field. That's what I would consider these EMAs, or data fields. And once we start playing in these data fields, that's when more or less, if we were to be looking at heat maps, we would see more liquidity, more action going on there. And we're not bursting out of that anytime soon. Money flow is still heavy in the red. We are very, very much oversold. Would this be a good buy? Perhaps.
Maybe
We do
goodbye.
have, yeah, I mean, anything's really a good buy if you wait long enough. But that's exactly why, as I was mentioning prior to the stream today, we got time, especially people like myself who are as young as 31 and going forward looking at even something like Matic here, Polygon Matic as it was. If I were to get in on this, like 10, 15 years down the road, should they still exist, like, I don't see why, against the inflating dollar, why anyone would have a hard chance of getting money out of really any altcoin that does survive. Again, we got to realize that more than 90% will fail, 90, 95% even. So
Yeah.
keep
Yeah. I
that in
mean,
mind, everybody.
just because the token pumped during one bull run and maybe had a high and everybody sees value in it doesn't mean it necessarily will stay around. So DYOR, do your own research, and if you have a gut feeling or something you want to go off, make sure you always check the data and check for yourself. So if you have time, we'll jump into Aave, and then we'll get on to our topics.
Oops. I remember this one. We'll use the Coinbase chart. We'll try that one out. We'll try two just in case. There we go. There's got a little bit of data. Wow, that is actually fairly impressive. We had not just in the past few months, a green dot form in the 50-60 zone, but momentum is still incredibly high. And even though we have a thinning, how do I say this, volume right here? Yeah, thank you. VWAP. I keep wanting to say volume or other things like momentum, but yeah, it is in fact VWAP, that little yellow on the market cipher B. And yeah, in conjunction with all the other markets, this does spell short-term downside. But we have such a bullish flag forming on the monthly, at least for Aave, that I wouldn't doubt in my mind that this thing could form some form of support in this range of 450 to say 470.
And on that high time frame, you don't have a bear dip. It doesn't look like there. So as long as it
No,
stays
not really.
low, and yeah, so that could end up being a continuation. We'll just have to
It
see.
very much looks like it, and it'd be nice to see a bit more data to determine money flow. But if we just dive down, actually, let's look at the 2-week, to be brutally honest. Yeah, look at that. Like a beautiful little trigger wave right there, and a hell of a lot of money flow. So I'm ending at short-term red downside potential there. Oops. But yeah, looking really good. We got a 1, 2, 3. The next is usually a 4 to the downside, anywhere between realistically 220, 210 is where the price could drop down to in the medium short term. And then we could be right back up to test the top of this potential triangle that's forming. Or it could just flop, and we could just kind of see a bounce inside the EMAs before higher times with Aave in the technical side of things.
Yeah, and Retro Mike Tech brought up a good point on Polygon. He said Matic changed tokenomics to infinite supply when they switched to Polygon or to POL. You can't compare to last bull run. It's no longer controlled emissions. So that's a good point. You know, you have to look into the tokenomics and how things have changed based on from where they started to where they changed. That's kind of why Dave did his this show yesterday and talked about where XRP started with their white paper and then all the news that's come out in the podcast format. So
yeah, we always got to pay attention to those fundamentals. Sorry, go ahead.
No, let's jump into our next section. Jimmy, do you want to refresh and say hello to the chat for us?
Yeah, let's see here who has popped in most recently here. See, Dutchy popped in. Retro Mike Tech, as we mentioned. Green Day Profits popped in. And then we had the questions from Scott Watson. Who else do I see here? Andrea's been in here. Actually, I think that's all I'm seeing on the YouTube side.
Alrighty. Oh, and Jay Violet just jumped in. Morning, everybody from Aussie land. Good day, good day. And of course, Dark Crash, feel free to stick around as we're going to be jumping in. So Ethereum's been on a tear, hitting over 4,300. What do you think's driving this breakout, guys?
Are we ready to talk about Ethereum yet, or did you want to talk about the getaway?
Oh, well, did I miss something? Yeah, we can talk about the getaway. Just give me a second. All right, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so most of you know that we did a drawing based on our Easter egg holders from our NFT project over on Billy Goat Tales. So let me walk you through and share a tab. If you want to get more information on that, you can find out on our website here at billygoattales.io. You click here and go to NFT mint info, and you can learn a little bit about the NFTs. You can go to the official site to mint them. It's for anybody who spoke on the first 30 spaces. So November of 23 to June of 24, we hosted 30 X spaces, and we told everybody we're going to turn it into an NFT book. And so basically our 30 chapter NFT book is based on those 30 spaces with over 172 speakers, including Charles Hoskinson in week 8 or chapter 8. And of course we had Crypto Crow. He was in with us that week as well as his own chapter just to get to know Crypto Crow, and also Crypto Lifer. And then, so many different YouTubers that were supportive of us. We got Alex O Crypto, Randy Hipper, Crypto Blood, so many out there that came in and supported us. And many of you here, Green Day, obviously, and much of you fam that were also part of that, which was an important thing for us. So if you want to know more, you can do that. And then we have our own book reader. So you can, once you have that NFT, you can go in and read the book through if you have a Vesper wallet or a mobile compatible Cardano wallet, you can read it on your phone, or of course you can do it on your desktop with a desktop compatible Cardano wallet, and then be able to read it there. And so our Easter egg holders, which is about 100 out of the 1,000 NFTs, have Easter eggs. And why is that important? Well, every year we're going to do a giveaway, a trip to join the Billy Goat Tales team. And so we are going to Lake Hartwell, South Carolina. Let me share this one instead. So this is the actual property we're staying at. So this is the actual property that we're going to be staying at with the Billy Goat Tales team and Poman. Poman won this year's Easter egg drawing. So make sure if you're interested.
Were we supposed to bring our own tent?
No, well, there is an actual property there, a house there, but this is just pictures of the lake itself. So this is the backyard and the lake. And if you want to bring a tent, Dave, I'm sure you can stay out there in the tent and set that up too.
I'll bring the
But
fire.
there's the house there, and we'll be able to enjoy that nice little back porch and just a good time on Lake Hartwell. I'll show the overview from Google Maps. I'll share the broad range. Let's see if I can close part of that before I do that. So I'm going to share this. So Lake Hartwell is this huge lake out here, and it's on one of these little tributaries. This house is here over right in this section. So we should have some a good time there. A lot
Where's
of trees all
Where's
around.
the foodie event going to be at?
Oh, good point. So the foodie event will be in Greenville, and it's called the Fall for Greenville, October 10th through 12th. I think we're going to go on the 11th. That's the Saturday. And so there'll be taste, tunes, and taps. And I don't think I keep looking every week. We look to see, and it says stay tuned for the music lineup. So we will stay tuned, but we're excited to do that and have Po-Man with us. And then Po-Man's bringing a little bit of an entourage, and they're going to stay at Billy's brother's house. So that's pretty cool that we're able to do that. And of course, the whole team's going to be there. We're going to have a little bit of team bonding and other stuff, and then have Po-Man out. So if you're interested in maybe joining us and having the opportunity to join us, make sure you go and maybe consider getting one of our NFTs. And another way to do that is there is a Diamond Horn NFT holder membership level here on YouTube. And so, yes, it is $30, but we will go ahead and mint an NFT and send it over to your Cardano wallet. All you have to do is jump in our Discord, which there's going to be links on our YouTube and our X page to how to get in our Discord. Create a ticket, give us your Cardano wallet, and we will mint one straight off the bat. I might even take a video while I'm doing it just so I can prove it to you, but we will mint one and send that right over to you. So if you want to get one of our NFTs in that way, if you'd prefer to do that versus going to the mint site, then all you have to do is have that Diamond Horn NFT holder status and create that ticket in our Discord, and we will be good to go, and we'll send you that NFT. So did I cover all the bases, Dave Digital?
Looks fun to me.
Dave Digital
It'll
keeps
be
me
fun
on
to
track.
get away.
Oh yeah,
And we can.
and I'm pretty excited. I actually get to fly with Dave and Jimmy because I'll be flying out of San Antonio into Houston, and then I'll be catching the same flight that those gents catch up there. Wish we could have
Jimmy.
Redman kind of tag along with that too. I don't think the logistics made sense for him to fly to Houston just so that he could fly over.
Hey, we got those flight changes, right, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Okay.
They want to leave me on my lonesome. That's all right. I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
No, we look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, all right. Should we get into our next topic, guys?
Of course.
All right. So
Let's do it.
Everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody loves it.
Everybody wants
Everybody's
to
back
talk
on the
about
freaking
Ethereum.
bandwagon. Yeah, everybody loves
All
it.
right. Well, let me share this article real quick from Cointelegraph. So there, I don't know who Yashu Gola is. I guess it's good to figure out who's actually writing these articles, but he wrote this 5 hours ago. It says, how high will Ethereum price go after breaking 4K? ETH analysts weigh in. And I saw another one that talked about it going to 20K, but it didn't really have any supportive documents or supportive information. At least this one here does show some analytics that's and I'll get into that a little bit. But some Ethereum bulls make a strong case for 10,000 over the next 6 to 8 months. We'll see. Some key takeaways: Ethereum breaking out across multiple bullish setups on the price chart. And we did go over that with Dark Crash. Thank you for jumping in with us to do that today. And then analysts see target ETH rising to 6,000 soon, with 20,000 possible within a year. I'm not sure about that, but we'll get into it. Ethereum's native token surged roughly 24% this week to over that highest price since December of 21. And so this is kind of what I wanted to get into. Ether's Wyckoff pattern breakout targets 6,000. So here's a Wyckoff accumulation pattern according to Lord Hawkins, and that's showing a little bit of his chart
Nice
there
name.
where he sees. One more time.
Nice name.
Yeah,
Lord
right.
Hawkins.
Lord Hawkins. And here's his accumulation schematic of events. So he shows phase one. You have your lines, support lines here. You have resistance lines, and then phase E. So If you look on this chart here, you can kind of apply some of that into, he talks about this kind of being accumulation. Here's the spring, here's the SOS, and I'm sure you can look up more of what this means, but phase E. So, in his estimation, he sees it going up to maybe 6,000. What do you all think?
Dutchy thinks that price prediction stories are nothing but wishful thinking.
There you go.
Dutchy thinks. But, ETH's got to do something. It's got to be timed by now, right? For
Yeah, I
ETH to
mean,
do
if alts are
something.
going to take off, ETH is got to almost start it off, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the charts may have a pullback left in them. I think that this leg up could come back down to 618. That could form another shoulder. If you see behind me there, it could form another shoulder, and I think then it could take off. It may not wait, but I think that it definitely could. To make this shoulder, that head, and this shoulder, and then take off. That would also be a 618 retracement, and back to the just above the POC. So, I mean, we'll see. But I think the 1618 is at 7,000 something like that. It's kind of up there. And normally, if you take all-time highs, it's pretty easy to get to 1618.
Yeah. Redman, what are your thoughts, brother?
I think there's going to be a tremendous amount of resistance at 5K. I'd like to see it get past 5K first before we see anything else. I was listening to Tommy Lee, and he was talking about he just bought $3 billion worth of ETH, so I think he gets a seat at the table. But he's saying that it's going to go to 16K. I'm not a big proponent of these price predictions. I need to see more evidence before we get there. But if it goes there, great, awesome. Everybody gets paid, right? But if it doesn't go there, and you're sitting there and it's sitting at $4,995 and doesn't go even past 5,000 for the year, there's gonna be a lot of pissed off people, and we'll see what happens. I need to see it cross 5K before we can start talking about 20K, 16K, 8K, 12K. So I hope it does. I 100% hope it does, just so my buddies can get paid.
So Jimmy, a lot of sometimes the news gives us a big pump, like this tie into Trump's 401k order and institutional moves like Harvard's Bitcoin bet. But what do you think, Jimmy, is the factors to consider here?
Well, I mean, if ETH is about to make its move, then I think that we're saying, the Bitcoin top is in, right? I mean, that would mean we were moving into that kind of that second phase of the bull market. So, me myself, I'm really watching close what Bitcoin does. If I see, Bitcoin start trending down, I mean, I think that's going to be a clear indicator. That is kind of where we're at in the grand scheme of the full cycle. And if it kind of stays where it's at and ETH starts making a lot of ground, I mean, I'm not sticking around for much longer. If ETH hits 6,000 or 7,000, then I'm definitely going to start taking some profits. If it runs up to 16, great. But I am not round tripping ETH. I will sell it all.
Yeah. So why did Ethereum break out? It was tired of being staked in one place. And so dark crash, there's a lot of pullbacks that could wreck leverage traders. And of course that 4,800 is kind of a stepping stone. And I know that you always, you help us by comparing the ETH and Bitcoin chart. So what are your thoughts?
Well, leading into 48 or 4,800, and what we might see in terms of flipping that psychological 5K, like right now, I believe we're also at some sort of inflection point with Ethereum where it could more or less, like we've always talked about Ethereum breaking away from the whole Bitcoin train. Well, that correlation will exist, I think, for pretty much forever. And the one thing I see by inflection point is it's taking as a secondary flagship for crypto alts. So no longer will we rely on Bitcoin necessarily to drive alts. Yes, it will as the primary driver, but what we will see more is these DeFi projects come up, and those will be pretty much the alts that'll tag on with Ethereum, making it more or less the second flagship of crypto. And we will have more than just Bitcoin to look at going forward.
Yeah, for sure. So what do y'all think as far as gas fees and Ethereum? Do you think the gas fees are still going to hurt small transactions? I mean, it still is quite pricey, and prices might go up, but as people maybe purchase NFTs or do other actions that require gas, even trading crypto on Ethereum, I think most people have gone to, like myself, I go and use Base, or I use other chains to be able to kind of reduce some of the fees. But what are your thoughts on gas affecting the ETH output or outlook?
Yeah, so it's no secret I'm not a fan of ETH, and that's why I'm not a fan. They gave me a bad taste when we first started. We had Bitcoin and we had Ethereum. If you wanted to do anything with anything else, you needed Ethereum to do it. And so you needed really, if you had $30 worth of whatever the crap coin it is, then you needed $30 worth of Ethereum to move that crap coin or to do anything with it. So I really don't like them, and I don't like, I'm not a fan of the politics. Not that I'm a big politics guy, but I'm also not a big fan of my projects getting into that. I prefer that they stay out of it mostly, unless you're
But
Charles Hoskinson.
but Dave, kind of to rebuttal that, the gas price today for ETH is 0.466. So it's not even one anymore. So the big thing is Base came along. The layer twos came along. They made the gas prices much cheaper. I think I paid to convert my Zora to my Arrow. I paid 0.01 cents on Coinbase's wallet. I mean, it's basically nothing now. I mean, yeah, back in 2020, yeah, 2021, yeah, you're going to pay 30, 40, 60, 70, $200 to change something out. But nowadays, because of the L2 and because of the
Yeah, but for
upgrades
me,
they
that was
made,
enough.
very,
I
very
think
cheap.
I just didn't like the fact that they were greedy when they were the only store in town. They bumped up the prices really high for
Well,
everybody since they were the only guy. Now that they have to compete, yeah, they do compete.
the
But
the tech
I'm not going to give them that as a benefit. Now that they have to compete, yeah, they do compete. Otherwise, they would have died.
Yeah, because the tech didn't catch up yet, and the tech's caught up now, and there's very few blockchains out there that have high gas prices now.
Yeah, but does that
If
mean I
any at
think it's
all.
going to go down from here? Probably not. It's probably going to hit that, 5, 7, 8, and then maybe even more. There's, like Billy says and Jimmy says, there's a lot of people building on that on Ethereum, and that matters. I mean, they're not going to just give up everything that they've built for the last however many 7, 8 years, 10 years. They've been building there for a long time. So unless they can find a way to get off of the and it's not a big problem, then he's still going to go, and it always will. And I think it has such a big base that it's going to keep going, regardless of my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I accidentally, well, I mean, I should have paid more attention. I was trying to buy some crypto and uploads directly to my MetaMask, and I don't know if it was the MetaMask or if it's the fact that I chose the Ethereum chain. Lost some on my transaction just to higher fees than normal. So even $25 in fees is a lot more than we should have to spend, in my opinion. So obviously, I needed to double check my work when I was uploading and purchasing that crypto to be able to move somewhere else right away. But yeah, I mean, I haven't been a fan of the fees. I didn't like that you have to kind of choose what part of the day you want to do a transaction in. That was always kind of sketch to me when I was doing a lot of NFT purchases. You'd be like, oh, okay, well, wait until midnight in I don't know, in the Philippines to purchase, because that's when it's going to drop or whatever. You'd always have to be watching the ETH gas chart just to do the transaction, and that doesn't make things smooth. And even if it's only down to $1, $2, $3 or whatever, or less, you still kind of have to watch it. But I mean, I do like the chain as far as some of its opportunities, but that always has left a sour taste as well for me. Anybody else thoughts?
I like what Dutchy said. He said, I avoid Mexican food to reduce gas. And I 100% agree with him.
I
Dutchy.
definitely disagree.
Well,
Mexican is
well
my
done,
favorite.
Dutchy.
No, Dutchy. Dutchy's wrong. Mexican food, Tex-Mex specifically, is the best food in the world.
He just maybe doesn't have that natural filter gene like we have being from Texas or something.
Yeah. If I could get rid of one food, it would never be Tex-Mex. Ever. Buy Olive Garden. Buy Italian.
All right, so let's get into the Sheetz gas station accepting crypto. So did you all know that there's a gas station that's now accepting Bitcoin? Red, you did a lot of research on this. I can show a little bit of here. Let me share my screen real quick. There are some how do you say, there are some it's not just any time of day. Sheetz had partnered with Flexa. You can use crypto and crypto crave and save. So every day, if you purchase from the Sheetz gas station chain between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., you get 50% off your purchase when you pay with crypto, up to $15 per payment. So if you go past $30, you're only still going to get $15 in credits. Of course, there's terms and conditions, but what are your all's thoughts on this Sheetz gas station deal? I mean, I know Billy would be super excited just because adoption is adoption is adoption. And we all know from his background that he owned and operated a gas station, built a gas station in his hometown way back in the day. But what are your thoughts? Red?
Who's going first? Okay. I think it's outstanding. I love the whole idea. I think this is, for me, I'm all about mass adoption first. I want to see everybody in America on crypto on chain. And I think this is one of the ways to do it. The only thing with this is you have to have the Flexa app to be able to use it, unfortunately. And then we all know how much of a pain in the butt it is to move your crypto from one wallet to another and risk losing your crypto. Other than that, outstanding. You can use Bitcoin, Litecoin. Let's see, where were the other ones? Yeah, Bitcoin, Litecoin, USDC, and Dogecoin. So I think it's a great start. I don't, are they done? Is this game over? No, they got a long ways to grow. And they need to be able to offer it in a lot of other areas, but this is a beginning. This is so people can get used to using their crypto to pay for things other than just PFP or PvP.
I'm wondering in the chat, have you all heard of the Flexa chain? I personally have not. Maybe I've been with my head in the ground, but I had never heard about Flexa. So how, and even here on the panel, what do you all think? Jim, have you heard of it? Had you heard of it?
I had, well, is it Flexa capacity? Is it the same as AMP?
It says Flexa compatible wallets.
Kind of funny. The previous conversation, you were a bitch about gas fees. Now you're talking about spending crypto on gas.
Yeah. We just need to combine that Tex-Mex food and some cows, in the field, and then put it on, make it usable. What about you, Dark?
My take on the gas station?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's incredible, really. About 10 or so years ago, when I was doing some sociology classes at university, there was already some incorporation, believe it or not, just as much as Bitcoin ATMs and trying to transact with these coffee shops. Like, it really is accelerated to the point now where more and more of our basic commodities like fuel are being opened up to these transaction types. And of course, with our big friend PayPal obviously getting that notion put forward even more, we're going to see all these little gas station stories pop up left, right, and center. And we're at that point now of continued mass adoption. And in relation to what I'm hearing, as I said before, at the gym and everywhere else around, the general public's kind of finally turning their eye back on to crypto. So I think retail is again finally making its way, and very much so in the sense that they're dumping their cash into Bitcoin and into other cryptos so that they can use these other chains that these gas stations are utilizing. So yeah, I think it's
Yeah, I mean,
a phenomenal thing.
it's making crypto practical for daily buys, and for everybody that says, "Why would you spend your Bitcoin on gas and consumable products?" Well, you can spend USDC. It doesn't have to be just Bitcoin. It can be other cryptos, or it can be USDC. And to talk about the Sheets brand, they have over 750 stores. And what I would say is for anybody with a large vehicle, F-250, F-350, other brands too, Ram 2500, anything like that. I mean, you can only get $15 as far as a discount on that 50%. So you might have a quarter tank and then go fill up and get, spend 15, get 15 back. It kind of limits. If you're putting $75, $80 in gas in your car, you're not necessarily getting the 50%, but it does also apply to food. So if you get those rolled tacos in that little heater thing, just Dark Crash, you might want to stay away from the Tex-Mex, side. You don't want to get
I'll
that
stay
other
with my
kind of-
poutine.
Yeah, stay with your poutine. Maybe Dutchie will pass on it too, but yeah, I mean, there's obviously their chain is worth 6.2 billion, and so that Crave and Save is what they're calling this promotion that started is obviously out there, and so I think it's great for adoption. We'll see how maybe they increase their discount or incentivize other times a day or other things, but it's a good start.
So Tony, I'm
So-
split on it. I think, what was that, Jimmy?
I was just going to say, Flexa capacity is a component of the Flexa network. So yes, I've been using it for 2.5 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm split. So I love the adoption side of it from a Bitcoiner, from being, in the community. I love the fact that they're going to get adoption. But man, the conspiracy side of me says these people that are starting to take the Bitcoin, they just want your Bitcoin because it's super freaking valuable. And they just want it. That's why they're willing to give you 50% off, because they want to buy your Bitcoin.
They're trying to accumulate because they know there's a finite supply, right?
That's
Yeah.
what I think.
And we need to be utilizing
I'm
more
not spending
transactional
crypto
coins
on
like
Beaver
XRP.
Nuggets.
I was going to ask, what do you think about Bucky's chain? The Bucky's chain bringing that out, but yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to go spend my crypto on Beaver Nuggets either. I mean, I might move cash to USDC to get a discount, Billy, and you all know I'm always looking for the points and the discounts and the ways to save. But yeah, I'm not spending my Bitcoin on this either.
Now,
What
maybe
are-
one of them sausage on a stick with the tortilla wrapped around it. Those are pretty good. I might give us
Yeah.
some Doge for that.
They got a Philly cheesesteak burrito over there that's supposedly pretty fire.
I'll just
And
take
their
a glizzy.
breakfast
Everyone sounds
breakfast
hungry.
biscuits are awesome too.
Okay. I think Redman is like, what in the world are Beaver Nuggets? So I'll show Beaver Nuggets real quick. It's just this little corn puff snack type
Oh,
thing.
man.
Beaver
Those look
Nuggets. So
delicious.
They are delicious, and they taste
almost
like syrup.
It's almost like the pop cereal, but a little larger.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, they're
There you
good.
go.
But don't leave them unopened over here in Houston when it's humid, because they will get soggy.
Ugh.
Yeah. You don't want to have an open bag for too long in the humidity. Well, I think I skipped a little bit of thing on our agenda, or at least I moved things around. We talked about the Lake House giveaway, but we have not yet talked about the children's books. Redman, are you prepped for that? You want to get into our children's book discussion, tell people all about it?
Let's go. Yeah, so real quick, I'm going to show you guys. Let me get out of the screen here so you can see it. So we are on Billy Goat Tales Twitter page here. If you come to Billy Goat Tales Twitter page, you're going to see a link for our Discord. That works. And you're going to hit this link tree, and it's going to take you here. Let's see if this opens up for us. Hopefully it does. There we go. All right. So this is our link tree. You're going to go to, let's see if it's in there. Is it in there, Tony? Please tell me it's in there. Oh, I'm not
It
seeing
is. It's in the shopping section.
in the shopping section.
Should be in the
Oh, the
shopping
shop.
section.
Mint the Cardano.
Should be. Maybe not.
Okay.
Well,
You can go straight to my page then. Yeah, exactly. You can go straight to my page then. There's a link right here for the book. Link for book. Boom. Click on that. That goes to my book. Now, if you want to buy Billy's, you're gonna have to put in Bridge to Bitcoin in the search bar. His will pop up. Both of them are $14.99. You can get them both on Amazon. They're our way of giving back to the community, teaching kids about blockchain and good investment habits and scammers. Billy's is about scammers. So Jimmy's is the next one to come out. His will come out Jimmy Q4 of this year, right, Jimmy?
Probably Q1.
Q1 of next year. Okay. Yeah. Yep. And that's pretty much all I got for you, Tony.
yeah, I'll make sure to update that link tree. Thanks for pointing that out. I think I had it on there and then we took them down at some reason, but I'll make sure I put that back in the shop. And of course, you can always go to our website and look for our stuff. But if you search Billy Goat Tales on Amazon, we will have our 2 kids' books there. Looking forward to the next round 2 with Jimmy's book coming out. So thank you, Redman.
No problem.
So Harvard holds more Bitcoin than gold. This one's wild, don't you think? Apparently, SEC filings showed in the second quarter of 2025 that Harvard University's endowment, managed by the Harvard Management Company, has a larger holding in BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust than it does in the SPDR Gold Trust. So what do you all think about this? I mean, is this like I don't think they actually put out information on it. They have to do their reporting, but this seems to be, I don't know. Look, more adoption, more reason why we're seeing mainstream legitimizing crypto for conservative investors and for and to allow for a different range of investments. Maybe they're following the Bitcoin companies like what did they change the name to?
Strategy?
Yeah, Strategy instead of
MicroStrategy.
MicroStrategy. I can't remember. Okay, I'm obviously having a brain fart myself. Don't put those fart emojis. Well, maybe you will put those fart emojis in the chat. But so what are your thoughts on that, Jimmy Jim? You want to lead us off?
I have no thoughts on that actually. To be honest.
There you go.
Yeah,
Well, if
so
I might. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead first.
Oh, I was just going to draw a correlation to my story about the coffee shop taking those coins early on. It seems like it's finally paying off. They've been dollar cost averaging since before it was cool, really. So yeah.
Yeah. Why did Harvard pick Bitcoin over gold? Because it wanted to mine some modern treasure. Yeehaw! So the degen side of things, the degen side of the Twitter space and everything else says, ETFs mean no real Bitcoin. It's lame. It's paper Bitcoin via BlackRock's hands, controlled by Wall Street, not the crypto ethos. What do you think about that, Red?
Yeah, I think that's 100% correct, and that's why you're not going to get your 60 to 70% downturns anymore. You're going to see this 20 to 30% dips, and these guys at Wall Street, they're a lot different investor than what we've been used to. And the whole thing with Harvard, can you blame them? I mean, I don't blame them. I would much rather have Bitcoin than gold, but that's just my stupid opinion. But that's pretty much all I got for you, Tony.
Dave Digital. How about you?
Harvard, when I was growing up, they had a spectacular reputation of everybody wanted to go there. Such a great quality school, such great quality education, all of that stuff. I don't know if they have the same reputation anymore. I'm happy they bought Bitcoin, but it doesn't tell me anything about their judgment or what they're doing because they definitely have gone off a cliff from what I've heard.
Yeah. I'm looking at Harp. It says, DD, you've been cleaning the system lately with those bean meals he's been posting.
I just put another pot of beans on right now. Just now added jalapeno cheddar sausage. They should be ready
Yeah, we had a
whenever
little chat,
this show is over.
and we had a little chat earlier. Jimmy Jim says he only does chili when it's chilly. I kind of
He
do the
does.
same.
He
I don't
does beans and chili and gumbo whenever it's cold.
Yeah,
That's
same
the
here.
$1 million question. Do you put beans in your chili?
Mm.
Yeah.
Give us your answer in the chat. Do you put beans in your chili? Yeah,
So-
I only do that kind of meal when it's cold out as well. When I lived in Maryland, we could have it quite a bit more often. But now that I'm back in Texas, it's only really in the winter.
I think the rule is if you're eating your chili on a hot dog, we've got to echo. So the rule is if you're eating your chili on your hot dog, you're not supposed to have the beans. But if you're having chili as a bowl of chili, you're having it in a Frito pie, or you're having it.
There's
something
gonna have
like
to be an
that.
over.
Yeah,
Sorry for
I'd
that, 'cause
agree
you-
with that, Dave.
Yeah. So what did we say? We say you're agreeing with beans when you're eating it, and no beans when it's on your hot dog. Yeah, I think that's
Correct.
fair.
That's
that's the way to do
that's
it.
a solid Texan answer for sure.
And if you're putting it in a bag of Fritos, that doesn't matter to me. Do it however you want. Just make sure you put onions and cheese in there too.
And bacon.
In your bag of Fritos, Frito pie with bacon?
Bacon in your chili.
Oh,
Okay. Some people do put bacon in their beans, but I prefer sausage over bacon or ham and not beans.
we're making Dark Crash hungry. Maybe not.
Stop.
No, he just wants toasted beans, right?
Yeah,
No, that's
with
the
maple
British.
syrup.
Oh, with just a big old bowl of maple.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I'm losing my train of thought. We have one more topic, but let's see. We're going to talk about Panama City's mayor's Bitcoin discount for canal fees. Panama's going crypto crazy for Bitcoin. Redman, what's the scoop?
Hold on. Do they even own that canal anymore? Didn't Trump just repo it? Or something?
No. Who owns the canal? That's a good question to ask.
Honestly, this just sounds like another way to get more Bitcoin, right? So
All of these things we're talking about today, right?
What
I mean,
is the story about the Panama Canal? They're
Hmm.
letting you pay to, what is it, a toll canal?
Well, I'm sure there's charges and fees that shipping companies pay when they transit there, because of course, otherwise they'd have to go around the South American continent. But looking at my AI overview, it says the Panama Canal ports of Balboa and Cristobal are currently owned and operated by BlackRock through a consortium that includes General Infrastructure Partners and Terminal Investment Limited. So just another way that BlackRock's trying to accumulate everybody's Bitcoin. They say, yeah, you can pay with Bitcoin over here and we'll take that. And so obviously they own the Panama Canal. So,
Well, I do think
discounts could-
I think so. If they have a global customer, right? So I think it makes sense if you do have a global customer. So if you have a global customer and you can use a currency that's global, then that makes more sense than having to have, to convert back and forth to USD, regular US dollars. So it would make sense that the transaction would be smoother with a constant currency for everybody.
Yeah, and just like we learned in the XRP discussion you had with the AI podcast, I mean, if all these companies have to have holding money aside, like set in holding accounts so that the transfers happen, and then that means they're basically putting money in these accounts that just have to hold money so that they can make sure all their transfers go through. you know, being on the blockchain itself could prevent some of that. Obviously, it's you know, you don't have to have one account with just holding money to make sure you can validate your transactions. It's just a transaction on the blockchain, and it can happen seamlessly.
Yeah.
So whether
I
it's
love
XRP or
I
Bitcoin.
love how they try to pass this thing off as, oh, Panama's just supporting Bitcoin. Yeah, Panama's trying to take your Bitcoin. That's exactly what's trying to, like, just pay him in fiat, man. Just hold on to, never sell your Bitcoin, right? The old Michael Saylor adage, never sell your Bitcoin. But, and I understand why he says that, but yeah, I wouldn't be paying in Bitcoin just to pass through a canal. And I just don't know if anybody else would do that either.
Yeah, and they don't even own the canal. So, so like you said, Red, it just seems like there's news out there that's trying to show international and you know, adoption, but that really is just showing you one thing and giving you another. So, Redman, do you have any research that that you've been going on in Red's research in our Discord channel? Do you have anything new that you've been doing there in Red's research?
Yeah, so I've been pretty busy lately. Haven't really put much in there lately. Let's see. Let me check it out though. We'll look at it real quick. We'll see what's going on. I think this is the wrong. I think I got the wrong browser up too. Yeah, I do. I have the wrong browser up. Right now, I think we talked about the last one that I put in there. I don't want to go too crazy with it because it's for the holders, the people that went out and bought the Billy Goat Tales NFT, which you can buy on billygoatales.io. Get yourself an NFT. It gives you access to my channel. It gives you access to Billy's investment channel. You get to pick Billy's brain a little bit about how and why he's made his investments. He's been doing pretty good lately. And if you do have a BGT NFT, you should definitely go check that channel out because it's helped me out big time, and it will help you out too. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got, Tony, for right now. Other than I put out a short on our Givers Gain 111 YouTube channel every single morning at 6 a.m. my time, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. There'll be a short for you guys every single morning on there about a different coin. It's mostly about fundamentals of the coin. I think we've got 35 videos out now, Tony. I think is when I looked on the channel, I think it was 35 of those shorts that I put out so far. So
yeah, you've got really good. You've gotten a lot of really good adoption, a lot of views, a lot of interactions on those shorts. Doing a great job on putting them together, and you know, obviously the Billy Goat Tales team is very big on using AI to create content and help us to have some knowledge. And of course, we do our due diligence to double check stuff. But you know, Dave Digital had showed us a new cool little app that you can go. It's almost kind of like what was the photo one? Midjourney. It's kind of like Midjourney, but now it actually helps you create little videos. And it's called Showrunners. You can jump in their Discord and create things there. I'm sure there's a certain, you know, it might be a certain amount of limited free opportunities, but we haven't finished that tab off. For you guys, I'm going to share a little bit, just a small clip that I created today, just talking about, I don't know, it's a squirrel rebellion. It's just an odd topic. It's only about 20 seconds. But we already put out one short using this, and we actually added Crypto Billy's voice, and it's almost his likeness. So I'm going to go ahead and share, and then we'll see if the audience, see what you all think. If you want more of that, type of one in the chat, or put the WD-40 can in the chat. You should be able to hear it once I start it.
Mark, you ever think squirrels are behind the bird feeder mystery?
Squirrels? That's statistically improbable. Algorithms would show patterns.
Patterns? Look at this paperclip. It's a clue.
Billy, that's just a paperclip. Wait, did you train squirrels?
I might have taught them to steal birdseed for science.
Billy, you've created a squirrel rebellion.
So I don't know what you all think about that. If you like, hey,
The
what's going
hell?
on, Randy Hipper?
What the hell is that?
Oh my
What's what?
sheesh.
That what you just played? What was that Squirrel Rebellion stuff you're talking about? What's going on there?
Yeah, I don't know. Might have been, Squirrel Shine Bob sometimes jumps in our chat and messes with us. So maybe that was his doing. But maybe he fed the AI the topic. But there's definitely a squirrel rebellion after Squirrel Shine Bob going out, Bobby Ray trying to go out and steal all their acorns. So we have Randy Hipper in the chat. What's going on, girl? How are you doing, sis? Good. I don't know. Are you playing those sounds, Dave?
Don't you worry about who's playing those sounds.
Don't you worry about what's going on in the background. But put a 1 in the chat if you liked some of those show runners things that we put together with Billy's with Billy's voice and likeness. If you want the whole team, I was thinking about adding the whole team into that and creating some content. So if you like some of that, put a 1 in the chat, put a WD-40, and I don't know. It seems like we're going off the rails a little bit, Jimmy. Do you think it's time to open the club and let us get up and dance for a minute?
Yeah, I think we better.
All right.
Dance it up in the chat.
Yeah. So Andrea says, how would you guys like it if someone used your face and voice to say stuff? Well, I don't know. I guess that might be a funny thing to do with other content creators. Just go pull their videos down and put a picture of their face up there. No, maybe they wouldn't like it, but
I mean, we do it to ourselves all the time.
yeah, we do it to ourselves all the time. There you go.
Yeah. AI doesn't stutter whenever you want it to talk for you. So kind of helpful.
Very true.
Well, I'm gonna have to see if we I think we ran through our topics pretty quickly today. Billy is usually obviously providing a lot of his insight and engagement, and I don't know if we should go to Jimmy's final word or find some other topics that we want to talk about. Maybe the chat can help us, give us some thoughts. I know that we are going to look. I don't know what's going on here. We're going off the rails. I know that we're going to look into the arrow chart. Billy, what did we get into today? I don't even know.
This is a good chance to look to the crowd to see if anyone wants to join in.
Yeah, let's say, hey, in the pinned chat, I believe in the pinned chat still there is our StreamYard link. So if anybody wants to jump in, today's a great day to do that if you want. And Dark Crash, I know you're probably preparing the arrow chart for us too. So like I said, in the pinned chat, you can jump into the StreamYard with us if you want.
Yeah, if we're gonna take a look at Arrow, let's take a look at Zora too, because definitely I'm still into Zora, and Red went out of Zora to get into Arrow. So let's look at them.
Not Zorro, right?
Yeah, Zorro.
Not the hooded masked sword man.
Yeah, that's
Zorro.
Yeah,
I am the Zorro.
All right. We got to add Dark Crash's thing to the screen. So there we go.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah, incredibly. Let's zoom out. Let's always start zoomed out. Not a whole lot of data, but what I'd like to point out on this one is the price is averaging out and capping around a main value area, which is indicative or made indicative by the support formed after these spikes. So what we see between the resistance zone here and the support zone here is about a, should I say, 20% range. And more or less, if we secure above this in the short term, I would project a price in the range of 1.8 to 1.9 for Arrow. That's just a short term little quick price prediction. Now, would I say that would really happen? Probably yes, I would, because if we look at this tight little trigger wave, just at least on the weekly, we can see some healthy price action moving on there and a nice little green dot forming above this candle, which more or less to me just looks like a gigantic golf club. And we're going to see this go at least in the short term to 1.2. Let's zoom right in and we can see what I was looking at prior to switching on the weekly was we have formed that support. We have broken out of a 5-point wedge. And not to mention, we also have our RSI and stochastics forming a lot tighter of a bond, which to me is more or less like an engine firing with not only on all cylinders, but to the point where they're firing and timed properly. That's the way I envision it, at least when the stochastic and RSI are nice and tight like that. Otherwise, you just got a misfiring engine that's otherwise going to eventually break down. That's pretty much how those two react together. That being said, we are more or less bursting well above a current short-term value area between 1.08 and 120. Should we flip this, we would probably see a return to a value area high, more or less, of 1.5 to 1.6. That would be a very healthy move of, and where's my ruler? I haven't used this thing in a little while here. That'd be a nice, about a 30% move right there for Arrow in the short term. So not to say to load up your bags now, especially with a bit of a crest down here. Zoom right in there. We see that volume coming down. It's a very heavy lump. And even if the lump is heavy, we know that it will have to at least come down in the short term. So it is burning pretty hot right now. I would not, again, not financial advice, but in my opinion, I would not recommend, especially at a spike like this, any sort of buy at all. I'd be looking more for a short personally, especially like we got a really thick white blade on the momentum on the blue wave. And that shows that we're not done just yet before the tank dumps and we need to do a little refuel, for lack of better words, which is when we would see a red dot or a clip. And that, with such a shark tooth like that, I would see that we would have to go up to the 50-60 line at minimum before we see any sort of turnaround. So short term, yes, we could play around with these little value areas and see kind of like a little bit of a kind of that, and then up there, and then we pull back down to kind of play with this bucket that's formed. But I don't see in the long term this one being knocked down at all. I think Arrow's going to do quite well.
Awesome. And what other coin did we talk about looking at? You said Zora, Dave?
Yeah, Zorro.
Zorro.
Oh, no,
Zorro.
Zorro.
Dun-dun-dun.
And let's remove these channels really quick here. I just want to point something out that I noticed
Yeah.
right as I flipped over. Was it's more or less, like I was talking at the beginning, more or less these crypto channels, they all look the same. But what I'm seeing out of Zora more than I am out of Arrow is we're holding so well above, at least in the 4-hour candles here, so well above the strength line, burning so very hot, like RSI's tight, all the dots are above the 60 line, money flow up, volume up. It's just everything screaming up. Even the number, the strength number under the candle right there, and the vacuum -5 up top, bringing price action right up north. Like if I were to do a short, or excuse me, what do you call that? A scalp. That's the word I was looking for. If you're looking for a scalp, might be able to pull off in the next few minutes something maybe in the long direction, but I would be gearing up for a short, especially with, you see you got a good amount of average candles in the green, you strike a red, green, strike a red, and we're kind of already at this peak right here along with this other candle top that we're kind of looking more for gathering some shorts. But as far as the daily on this unit goes here, let's try and average that out. Oh, it is autoed. Would you look at that? Well, wow, that is impressive. Burning really hot, this one here, this candle. If it bodies up there, at least in the short term, like it's really hard to say. This is price discovery for something that I'm not that familiar with, but just looking at it from where it is, I would say in the next couple days, we're probably going to see resistance and then another move up to about maybe 12 cents. Just looking at this measured move here and then a slight retraction and then measuring it back up in conjunction with storylines and narratives and the fact that Bitcoin's burning red hot. I don't think if things were to be too explosive, they would probably only get as far as 12 cents for this guy in the short term.
Win $1.
Burning really hot. Sorry?
Win $1.
When $1? Great question.
That's what everybody wants to know. On every coin ever. Oh, it's going to $1, bro.
Well, yeah, you can see $1 way up there, but we still got to get through a multitude of things before we're even remotely close.
I mean,
how
it's
small
going to
that
have to have a $17 billion market cap to go to $1 because there's 10 billion coins
tomorrow, maybe.
distributed for
Mhm.
Zora. Yeah, so
They're going to have to go and buy a couple sports arenas.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I'm
this one's
excited about
really
Zora.
nice.
It's a fun one. Yeah, I used Jason Casper's link for KSEX and they gave me like $400 to trade with for not doing
That's
anything
very
other
nice.
than KYC. Yeah. And I think anybody could still go use. I just followed the link in his description for KSEX and $400 to trade free. And I traded Zora. It's working.
Right now it's
Mhm.
sitting at $327 million market cap. So you would
Oh, yeah.
need 17 billion to get to $1.
We can
Mhm.
do that in a couple weeks. Think so.
Yeah,
Obviously,
his
I'm kidding,
performance
not
is seen on the
financial
side
advice.
here is still really, really good. In the last week, up 84%. In the last, what is this month, up 1,000%. So it's done incredible. And year to date, obviously, there's the technicals on the side of my tool here are telling us strong buy. But like I said, you can do that probably in the short term. But these things, they always say strong buy, even when it's going nuclear and it's about to actually burst. So
These are one of those
yeah,
toxic crypto face buys.
yeah.
I would wait for the retest, if anything. You know?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially since we're bodying so
Well, it
high up
depends
here.
on how you look at it, Red. If you look at that as a previous flag, right? I mean, that is your retest, and then there should, if it was a flag, you would do that whole size, that whole line, all the
Yeah,
way
but
up.
it
to do
once
that
it
again.
broke all-time high and it's in price discovery, now you want to wait for the next retest. Right?
Right. Yeah. That's why when we look, oh geez, that is a terrible looking candle. Let's go back to the daily. Yeah. When we're bodying that hard above and we're in price discovery like that and our RSI is peaking and we're more or less looking to split. Yeah, it's a time for just let's sit back, kind of see what happens. No one should be buying any tops. I mean, if you really want to, I'm not going to stop you. Like you go ahead, but just put a small amount in. Maybe don't be throwing the whole savings account at that.
It's a high risk play right now. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Go get your free money off of KSEX with Jason Casper's link, and then go put it in there on a 2x. Very simple.
Take that credit and use it while you can.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, we had Lunar Beaches Crypto in the chat talked about, do you want to look at Filecoin or IOTA or GNO? So we can take a look at a couple of those if you'd like, see what we can get into. I think Dave, you also, while Dark Crash kind of gets that ready, I think Dave, you also created that Joe and Trump talking about BGT and Giver's Gain. Didn't we have some other shout outs in our media library that we could put out there just to fill the time a little bit, but also talk about BGT a little bit?
What do you mean by media chef? You would just want to see a Trump or an Elon, or you want to see a cartoon? What are you talking about, Tony?
Well, let's hit the Trump and Elon, and let's do the cartoon that you showed last week at the tail end.
Greetings and salutations, fellow seekers of wisdom and camaraderie. Allow me to regale you with the tale of Billy Goat Tales, a paragon of the giver's gain ethos in the crypto cosmos. Join our assembly every Tuesday evening and bask in the enlightenment for a deeper dive into the realms of motivation. Catch me on Sundays at Giver's Gain 111. Let the resonant frequencies of our shared ethos elevate your spirit. Stay lit, stay inspired, and remember the future beckons.
Well, let me tell you about this amazing community, Billy Goat Tales. They're fantastic, really tremendous. Givers Gain is their motto, and let me tell you, it's catching on bigly in the business world. I hear Givers Gain 111 on YouTube and join their live X Space on Tuesdays. It's exciting, believe me. Billy Goat Tales, a winner every time. Okay.
Evers game.
Man, I gotta say, the Billy Goat Tales team, they've built something incredible. It's like a digital campfire where everyone's just sharing and growing.
Joe, I've seen it. Tremendous work. Tremendous. These guys, they're winners. Winners attract winners, you know?
Totally, and their philosophy, like givers gain, it's like the more you give, the more you get back. It's kind of beautiful, man.
Beautiful, Joe. Beautiful. That's the kind of thinking we need to make America great again. I'm telling you, we need these guys on the team.
You're serious? You want to bring them on board?
Absolutely. They've got the magic touch, community, connection, growth. It's all there. We'll call it the Billy Goat strategy.
The Billy Goat strategy, I like it. It's got a ring to it.
Joe, you and I, we're going to make this happen. Big things, Joe. Big things.
Yeah, those are fun, Tony. But you know, I mean, the truth is, I know he's getting that ready for us, but if we're out of stuff to talk about, we're out of stuff to talk about. You don't have to stretch it. We don't have to go farther. I mean, it is what it is. You know, we're transparent. We're always just who we are. If we cover the topics, we cover the topics.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can go into one more coin and then we can kind of get near wrapping up. You know, it's been a good show, but like you said, we don't need to just stretch time just to stretch time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to just quickly fly through all three. I think it'd be possible.
Let's do that.
Just
We have
kind
the
of
time.
that looked nasty right there, but IOTA's not looking too pretty on that chart, but most of them are looking pretty flat, pretty sad. Filecoin more than most. It definitely had its spell with everyone else with the pandemic money that was printed. But it's got a long ways to go for recovery. It has bled so hard, but just to see, even on the weekly, just some shine of green here and there is very promising, especially for Filecoin and its utility purpose. It's got some time to grow. It's forming a very small hidden divergence way down here on the lower price action. We can see a bump here and a bump there, getting lower price target there and slightly higher momentum there. So at the very least, some sort of traction back up to the $3 to $4 range before any chance of, you know, reaching 6, 7, 8, or even retesting the strength line, because we definitely need to get this value area cleared before we see any sort of action to try and retest and regain the strength that Filecoin needs to truly become bullish again. That being said, I'm gonna have to skip over IOTA briefly and go over here. It's pretty much the same bucket. What I would say, looking for price action here, we've got a channel that has pretty much finished off with a more or less a trigger wave to the downside. Like, this is looking pretty nasty. So what I would say for this one, not an upside target. I'd be looking more for a downside target closer to ballpark in somewhere below 110 would probably be what I'd be looking at for the very bottom. Between 118, 110 would be my value area for this one in terms of its next step down. If I were to project upwards, that target would be closer to, and this is respective to the EMA bands, it'd be more around the 140 range, at least in the short term, just before it needs to flip the momentum, or excuse me, the EMAs and go high. Now let's see if I can grab the IOTA chart real quick, because that first one wasn't turning up too much data. Let's try this one here, HTX. It be that way sometimes. Okay, this is a little better. All right, so here we see the pandemic money spike dropping all the way down, and a very much a similar situation to our Filecoin friend. However, it has actually pierced the strength and turned a little bit of support over here, at least on the weekly. So this is a little bit more promising, despite the flag appearing below the strength and being pointed more downward. Let's see if my trendoscope tells us anything on that one. Yeah, so descending triangle contracting, which has pretty much already broken out, and we're forming a new pattern, which to me is bullish towards about a 28, yeah, about a 29, 28 cent range, because I'm trying to base it off of the value here and the resistance formed there, and so on and so forth. Obviously, we're probably not going to wick to the strength line again, and if we do, then we'd probably see more wild dojis like this. So all in all, these coins, they have a lot of promise. They're definitely great buys right now, and a lot of potential downside naturally with altcoins, as we're still bleeding over at least into Ethereum, our second flagship. So yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So where is Ethereum at the moment? Maybe we can do a final look at Ethereum, and then we'll let Jimmy take us out of the
I
show.
think it went to 0 already. Not 4,200.
Ethereum to $1.
It's all going to 0.
And
All the way down to
just for
5K.
you all, if you go to our link tree on Billy Goat Tales, I did update our shop with the 2 Billy Goat Tales books. So there's links directly in our link tree. The link tree at Billy Goat Tales. You can find that there if you need to.
Thanks, Tony.
Ethereum's looking pretty good.
Tony. Yeah, Ethereum looks good.
Still considering more of a drop, at least to retest the strength line down here in the 4,100 range. Absolutely, especially since our RSI and stochastic have split so hard. Even though it's screaming over, quote unquote, oversold with the green line, that separation still gives me anxiety, pun intended, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
Alrighty, Jimmy
Jimmy.
Jan.
Are you ready, Jimmy Jim?
Well, it has definitely been a busy week this past week. We had our first test stream for the Space City Breaks channel. Went pretty good. We had a few problems. We've already got them fixed. And then we've got our big show coming up this weekend. 400 plus tables at the Fort Bend Epicenter. We're looking at hopefully doing pretty well there. I spent most of last night pricing out about 220-ish cards or so. I'll probably knock out another 100 or 200 tonight, and we'll be ready to rock and roll. And then here in the coming weeks, we'll be going live probably on Thursdays and Saturdays to do the actual breaks. But yeah, a lot going on that side of the world.
Yeah, man. Just
Jimmy-
like you guys are flying over there.
Jimmy, just
Zero-
The channel's up to 1,000 subs.
Yeah, 0 to
Gotta-
in full effect in no time at all.
Yep, we've had a lot of help from Philly Whiz Kids and Hitman Rips, telling people about our channel and directing people over to us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We had a good time Wednesday night. We streamed for about 3.5 hours, ripped a few cards, and yeah, just had a good old time.
who's Taco Berry's favorite baseball player?
Probably Jose Altuve. That's probably his favorite.
Astros.
Of course, the
Of course.
Astros, bro. There's not any other baseball players, are there? And speaking of sports, we are looking forward to Green Day Profits League about to start up for the fantasy football. Looking forward to that. But other than that, I think Keith is going to be popping up a premiere after this. You're not going to be on this one too, are you, Jimmy? Seen you on a lot of those premieres of Keith's. Dropping
No,
that Jimmy
but
wisdom.
we'll I think we're gonna have another one in here in the works in another week or two.
Looking forward to it. Sounds fun. Love what Keith and the guys are doing over there. I definitely pop in on Fridays a lot just to go hang out with those guys. Fun environment. All right, Tony, that's your cue.
Is it my cue? Well, I think we got someone that's crashing the chat, so I just wanted to make sure that we addressed any other concerns. But so with that being said, folks, we love having you here on Billy Goat Tales, and thank you for jumping in with us again this week. We will see you Tuesday. What's the topic Tuesday, guys?
We'll find out on Tuesday. Is it
There you
breakfast?
Well, go look at our X profile. I think we already have it out there. And
Is it Brinkman Tuesday? Or we weren't sure, right? I think we'll figure it out.
We were
Send
still
the
Oh
talking.
yeah, yeah. We're still waiting on a reply. So
There might be a special
join
guest.
yeah, we might have a special guest, so come join us on
Special.
Tuesday. But and you know, obviously you can see that we have the Dave Digital and the Jimmy Jim emojis in the chat now too. We're only 18 memberships away from having one more emoji added. Look, if we get there, we get there. We love you all for your support and that you've given us so far, and just being here with us every week is rewarding. We're not trying to chase down memberships, but of course we want to give you all the benefits of whatever it comes with it. And so all right, well, that's the end of the show today. Thank you for joining us on Billy Goat Tales, and we will see you next time.
Don't forget to drink water.
We are Billy Goat Tales. We love you, fam. Hashtag Givers Gang. We love you, fam. Hashtag Givers Gang. We are Billy Goat Tales. We are